Welcome back. Um, we had just rescued the XPDR beacon, and we're making the long trip back to the ship. Um, Meanwhile, we only have an hour of air left, and the probe is still going along. Um, Says it's deorbiting, but that altitude is going up really fast. Uh, and the reason it's doing that is because if we go to the probe and turn on an MFD, you can see this is the orbit. So it's going to go up away from the Earth and then come crashing down with a yeah, just it's going to be screaming into the atmosphere. So it'll be fun to watch at least. We should be at the moon and well landed before that. Um, I probably waited too long to start slowing down. Nah, I got it. Okay, so the original goal was to put this into the cargo bay of the Delta Glider, because that's where it needs to be. Yep. La. That was fun. Okay. Bye, Sarah. Nice knowing you. No, she's fine. Well, there it is. And with plenty of oxygen and fuel to spare. Um, nope. Okay, come on. No. No. Okay, that's good enough. Go back to the Delta Glider, which has been waiting for her all this time. And grapple, there we go. So, should be good. Now just to go back around to the front and get back inside. There we go. So I'll close the bay doors. And I need to... Aw, no. Okay, I guess we won't be able to use the left MFD. Oh, we have to turn the power on. Genius. I'm sorry, I'm not thinking straight today. Um, we're still oriented properly because we never actually turned around. We just have been using RCS systems. So we can use the RCS systems to go back. And it's going to be the same thing in general. So slide it in there. So there we go. That's about 10 meters down. And that allows us to be here without hitting anything, although we almost hit the gravity wheel. So forward. So 10 meters is a good distance to be beneath the docking port. And again, that's visible by the yellow plus. Probably better to err on the large side of 10 meters, but there we go. And then, so that means if the distance reaches 10 meters, then we are directly beneath the port. So at like 15, we should be able to be in there and clear. So we can head upwards like that. Yep. So we're still good. And that thing still muted? No. Okay. So we can not open up the airlocks yet, but we can turn those off, turn the EPU on, RCS off, backup life support off, and we can't send them through because doors aren't open. So that's open. Open the inner door, and send Sarah Green back in. Maybe buy her a drink, because she just nearly died. So there we go. Back to the Aero Freighter to close the docking bay. And thus we reach the bad part of having the probe out there. You can't warp beyond 100 with the probe. So, which means it's going to take a very long time to get to the moon. So I'm going to cheat and delete the probe. There we go. Probe gone. Again, that was my fault. I honestly should have just done an UMMU unpacked probe. They do exist. But I guess the automatic probes were more snazzy. So, approaching the moon. I bet you it'll say that we are orbiting something other than the moon. Orbit the sun. See, there we go. We are far enough away from the Earth that over half of the gravitational force is from the sun. And we aren't even to the moon yet. So, there's one thing. And you can also see that even though our... never mind. That's irrelevant. So getting closer to the moon, this probably will say, yeah. So now we're being more affected by the moon. So if we go back to orbit, or if we orbit moon, there we go. Lunar transfer program, lunar orbit insertion, execute DV, execute. Waiting. Okay, map. Hey, it automatically says that's to the moon. Okay. Hey, we are very equatorial. Sometimes when you do a lunar transfer, it'll set you into a different orbit. This was a very equatorial orbit. So now the question is, where do we want to base? Well, the answer is, it doesn't really matter. And I forgot to set the timer, so I will just start setting up the approach. We need to open up the bay doors again. And switch back to this, which is probably nighttime, so I'm going to wait until it's daytime. You may have noticed that the MFDs are working, even though the thingamajigger is off. And that's because this is the other cockpit. The not quite as cool cockpit. Where's the moon? There it is. You know, you'd think if we're this close, you wouldn't be able to miss the moon. Somehow I did. So no one is aboard. Of course they're not. We want to send someone aboard. And I want to send Sarah Green again, because she was so handy. And the rest can stay aboard here. Go back to the glider. Start it up. Now we do need the engines. Now the question is, will I be able to make it to the lunar surface safely? On the amount of fuel we have. We don't have very much fuel. And the answer will maybe be yes. I hold few hopes. Let's see if we can... oh my word. No pressure on dock valve. Why isn't there pressure on dock valve? Is there... I have never had this much problem attempting to refuel with something that is docked. It... I don't know. I mean, we were able to do it with mirror, remember that? Where am I? There we go. So I have no idea why I can't refuel here. Open the fuel hatch. Nope. Okay. So I guess we don't get to refuel. So here goes nothing. Or everything, depending on your definition. So let's skedaddle on downward. And we want to be going retrograde. So there we go. And we will land anywhere that's convenient. I wonder if... I've never actually used the land MFD. Well, there we go. We don't want to land at a base. Defining a base is for a configuration file, which I guess I could show you how to do eventually, but I'm not going to do it here. So that looks like a good place, kind of near Brighton Beach area. So there the arrow goes off on its continued orbit. And I'm going to go prograde and end the video here and continue next time, where we will land and set it up so the arrow can come down and visit us. So see you then.